It took mere moments after the news breaking that Bronny James had suffered a cardiac arrest for right-wingers to begin spinning opportunistic conspiracy theories about the COVID vaccine. That got a real big boost by Elon Musk, who decided to just ask questions saying, we cannot ascribe everything to the vaccine, but by the same token, we cannot ascribe nothing. Myocarditis is a known side effect. The only question is whether it's rare or common. Now, there's a lot of active misinformation just in that, but we are way past just Elon Musk's tweet. Right-wing media has gone crazy over this. Take a look.
Well, today Elon Musk was pilloried for suggesting that the COVID shot might have had something to do with what happened to Bronny. Now, he may be completely wrong. It's speculation. But we do know that myocarditis is a side effect of the vaccine, and given everything the so-called experts got wrong during COVID, we shouldn't condemn anyone who's asking questions.
People are angry at Elon Musk because Elon Musk rightly pointed out that with young athletes, there has been a higher incidence of myocarditis. Now, do I know that that was the case here? I have no idea. I'm thankful that they were able to save this young man and that apparently he's going to be okay. That's what I heard. But however, I do think that we need to look into this issue of myocarditis more deeply and aneurysms more deeply and other impacts. And is any of it associated with COVID or vaccines? I don't know. But Elon Musk got eviscerated for suggesting that we ask the question.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, big news next hour. Elon Musk came out and said he thinks it's the shot. He thinks LeBron James is from the shot. Elon Musk suggests 18-year-old Bronny James cardiac arrest due to vaccine injury, myocarditis. Yeah, you can't stop the signal. You thought Alex Jones was a problem? Now you got Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, and Joe Rogan on your ass. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Praise God. Praise Jesus.
Praise God that we can take a tragedy that a family's currently suffering from and use it for our own devices. We've now linked myocarditis and pneumoniacs and all sorts of diseases. You do not get to claim to be a serious person asking serious questions about a condition that you don't even know what the word is. It's not myocarditis. Anyway, the main issue is not just that they're immediately saying, as they do when anyone notable gets sick, let alone dies, they will immediately say it was caused by the vaccine. It doesn't need to be something that's tied to the vaccine. They don't need to know if the person was vaccinated. That's not the fundamental problem here. The fundamental problem is the way that they are openly deceiving you about what Elon Musk was doing and trying to respin the narrative of it, that he's just asking questions. Why are you all freaking out when he's just suggesting boldly, bravely, that we should look into whether there's a connection? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because that's not the bold, brave stance you think it is. You know who does ask those questions? You know who tries to answer those questions? Effing scientists and doctors. They already have. There are already studies looking into specifically this thing that you just are asking questions about. No association between out-of-hospital cardiac arrest and COVID-19 vaccination. You can go read that if you're actually interested in this. They are, of course, not actually interested in this. They just like the idea that it could be due to the vaccine. And then they throw out other dishonesty right there. Elon Musk, Sean Hannity says, is just noticing that there's just a lot more of this. First of all, how has he demonstrated that? That there's more of it? Are we 5 years old? Can we not distinguish between the fact that a person with a notable name suffered a tragic health condition and that means more of it is happening? Now, it could be that more of that is happening. That's the sort of thing that actual scientists look into. With the scientific method, look it up. But simply just saying, oh, a famous person got something, so clearly it's due to the thing that I've been demonizing for the last few years, is not actually as scientifically rigorous a position as you seem to think it is. I've got more, including more studies that they won't care about, but JR, What do you think?
Well, damn, John, coming in hot. It's kind of hard to follow, but this is the thing. Speaking of it's happening more often. The occurrences of it keep going down. These are the people who are exhibiting how much they would control the general conversation around topics. Just because you talk about it more doesn't mean it's happening more. You're just talking about it more. And by the way, the way that they're talking about it is what we do know. No study, no examples, no evidence. Nobody that's actually saying what you do know. You just said you know it because you said you know it. Why do I think that you know it? Because you've convinced enough people that you know anything. So once you've convinced them of that, you can just go into any news report and say, what I do know is this. Why? Why should I trust that you know what you're doing? You're working for a news station that literally had to fire their biggest, most successful anchor and host because he's lying, and the rest of them were lying and behind the scenes covering up what they were saying to their audience. So why should we trust what you know? What you know from recent history is nothing. Actually, what you know is the truth, but you lie about it openly to your audience. It's even worse than not knowing. So calm down with all that. But number two, as Alex Jones is celebrating this whole thing, look at all these people now talking about it. Elon Musk, me, the Sean Hannity, Fox News. A murderer's row of people who will continue to lie to you. Yes, Alex Jones was on the upper echelon of that because of how loud he is, but doesn't mean he's not saying the exact same things that they were saying. Don't forget, I think people are starting to forget this. As much of an outcast as Alex Jones has begun to become, Donald Trump was his best friend. He showed up on his show, he talked to him, he promoted him and all that. So this wasn't some outside fringe figure that had no connection to Donald Trump, the administration, and Republicans everywhere, because he's the exact same position, even though he's on this outward streaming show, versus a Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and the Fox News folks. They're all on the same playing level field when it comes to people who listen to this madness. And again, how much do they care about LeBron James and his son before? When LeBron James was talking about police brutality and black folks being hunted down in the streets every effing day, how much did they care about LeBron James and his son then? About as much as they do now, as they're using him for their next benefit. It's the same thing every time. We hate that black athlete, but once we can use his black son for our benefit in our lives, all of a sudden we love talking about him. It's weird how that works.
And conveniently, it not only helps to advance their argument that the vaccine causes myocarditis, but also, hey, we get to look like we care about what happened to a black person. Isn't that convenient? So in addition to their asking questions that they're so disinterested in actually having answers to that they didn't even look into whether this has been studied, which it has. They don't care that the CDC has already done analyses of this, the results of which span many countries, showing that, yes, myocarditis was a side effect of the first-gen vaccines. In some cases, it was extremely rare, but it was found. It was far more common from people who'd suffered COVID, which is not hard to understand because myocarditis is generally caused by viral infections. It's inflammation in the middle layer of the muscle of the heart as a result of viral infections generally. Now, the side effect of the body adapting to a new vaccine can temporarily cause mild symptoms of that, but as the CDC has repeatedly pointed out, severe forms of myocarditis, which are an actual threat to people's lives, are far more common with the virus than the vaccine. And also, I would like to throw out more facts that they will completely ignore. It sucks that following a pandemic, an athlete like Bronny James can just keel over with cardiac arrest. And as I was saying earlier in the show about conspiracism and why it develops, it sucks to know that we live in a world where there is chaos like that. That someone who looks like they're not just in good health, but they're impressive athletes, they're in the best of health. How could they possibly keel over? Well, here's the thing. You might want to construct some sort of conspiratorial worldview that makes that conceivable to you. And if that's a more convenient, warm, cozy place to live, then do it. But unfortunately, those of us who want to live in the real world have to contend with the real world. And in the real world, you know what sucks maybe even more than the fact that it happened to Bronny James? It's that it happens and not just post-COVID. It took maybe 2 minutes for me to find all of this. 2011 study, sudden cardiac death in young athletes, a literature review and special considerations in Asia. Okay, this is from 2009. Sudden deaths in young competitive athletes. Analysis of 1,866 deaths in the US over a less than 3-decade period. Almost 2,000 people suddenly keeling over despite being in apparently very good health. Myocarditis in the athlete, very specifically myocarditis, the American College of Cardiology, that's 2018. This is not a new thing. It's not difficult to discover that it's not a new thing. It takes literally just moments to find that out. But it wasn't just caused by the vaccine. It wasn't even just caused by COVID. It's a thing that can happen because we live in a cruel world, okay, where chaotic things happen. But that doesn't mean that you need to suddenly try to convince yourself that there are literal lizard men in the White House and people eating baby faces to make sense out of a world that is unfortunately not everything we wish it was. What happened to Bronny James, what happened to the James family is a tragedy. Equally a tragedy to the literally thousands of families in the US and abroad where this has happened and will continue to happen regardless of vaccines and COVID. Apologies, JR.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, no, by the way, there's only one other thing really I had to say about as far as these guys and their propaganda on this whole thing is Elon Musk tweeted about it. Elon Musk. Who's Elon Musk? Elon Musk is a guy who inherited a bunch of money and invested in some businesses and does nothing as far as those things as the smart aspects of those businesses, but he just puts his name on it as he did with Twitter and then starts destroying that in whatever ways he wants to mold it within himself. So again, he's a guy who has money and does whatever he wants with it. Why does that qualify him to say anything about this and then to force other folks that are in the news business, I guess journalism you may sometimes call it, to discuss what he talked about by just piggybacking on the backs of it? This is a big indication and illustration of the way we as Americans take information. If the guy has money, no matter what field he's in, no matter what he's ever done in his life, because he's got money, we automatically go, Elon Musk said this, therefore it's true. Why? Because he's got money. He's got money. So therefore we should believe anything he says that has been absolutely and obviously debunked by everyone that's surrounding him, people who actually know what they're talking about, debunked the things that he said. But he's got money though. That's why we should believe him. But oddly, at the same time, the reason we shouldn't believe scientists is because this crazy thing, listen, because they're gonna make money off of it. What sense does any of this make? And by the way, that's a lie. So the scientists are trying to make money off it, according to conservatives. And that's why they're pushing this, because some deep state dark figure named Brandon is paying them to lie on these deep scientific studies that the 99% of the scientific community agrees upon. They're trying to make money off it, so we shouldn't believe them. But the guy who has money based off of nothing around this, we should believe because he's got money.
Yeah.
100%. Sorry. I had to repeat it one more time just to make sure that it made any sense, because it doesn't.
Yeah, to simplify it, billionaires are better than us. They're smarter than us, and you should trust them over, the evidence of your lying eyes. That's what many of these people actually believe, and all of them believe that they are truth seekers and all that. When all they do all day online is just find something warm to stick their head in, so that they don't have to contend with how the world really is.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.